At 5.
I tried at least 75 times.
Many have been voicing their frustrations over the COVID-19 vaccine sign-up process. What Benefice wants you to know. Plus, lawmakers are considering a bill that would end same-day voter registration here in Montana.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 5.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the News at 5. I'm Andy Curtis, and thank you for joining us. This afternoon, a lot of Cascade County residents are frustrated after attempting to sign up online to receive the COVID-19 vaccine in Great Falls. MTN's Coulter Anstad spoke to the people about their frustration and tells us what the hospital is now saying.
It was frustrating.
What many thought would be a relatively simple and easy process to sign up for an appointment to receive the COVID-19 vaccine turned out to be anything but.
The first screen you got was put in the birth date of the person. So I put in his birth date. The first screen that came up says you are blocked from this site, all in red. And so I hit refresh. That nothing happened. I went back out, came back into it, put in his birth date. Then the screen came up. All appointments are filled.
Melody Gall was hoping to get her husband an appointment. She tried with both her phone and computer as soon as the appointments became available, but no luck.
It took forever online to get downloading going.
Debbie Quinby unsuccessfully tried to get her mother signed up. With no luck, she called the hospital, but didn't have any luck there either.
I tried at least 75 times.
Kirk Wetzel also unsuccessfully tried to sign up his mother.
I just felt that Benefice so badly mishandled the way that this works. And I don't understand why nobody couldn't see that coming.
Benefice, which is working with Alluvian, the Great Falls Clinic, and the local health department to administer vaccines, says there is no one system that is perfect and says this system worked like it was supposed to.
I'm sure we'll make tweaks along the way in terms of streamlining the process in any way we can.
As for who did get one of the 1,500 available appointments, Benefice says other than the age requirement, there's no way to control who signs up, meaning people who are not local may have been able to get an appointment. Those who got one will get their first shot next week. In Great Falls, Coulter Anstad, MTN News.
In a statement today, the Cascade City County Health Department acknowledged the frustration, but asked people to please be patient and said another sign-up would take place next Thursday. You can read the full statement on our website. And active cases of COVID-19 here in Montana continue to sit just below 5,000, and 6 deaths have been reported since last night, raising the statewide death total to 1,122. Active hospitalizations, though, did see a significant drop, down 22 cases since last night, and sit at just below 140. Now, it's important to remember that MTN uses a combination of state and local data to provide you with the most up-to-date numbers regarding COVID-19 in our states, and because of that, our numbers may differ from the states. And now with a look at our weather, Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
Well, good afternoon, Andy. Good afternoon, everybody. Taking a live look at our camera from Monarch, looking off towards the north. Boy, there's just been this edge of clouds that has kept really the southern half of the state, we'll call it, in some of that cloud cover. North of there, though, awfully nice out today, although a lot of areas a little colder. McDonald Pass, one of the grayer areas, and we've had just a little light snow on and off through the course of the day around McDonald Pass and even around the higher terrain near Helena. Some reports of as much as an inch of snow. A lot of the area continues to be under a winter weather advisory. I know if you're watching from in Helena, in the valley, you're saying, where's the snow? Well, it's in the hills around town, and we will have a little snow coming through the valley through the course of this evening. We'll talk about exactly how much snow you can expect. That's coming up in the full forecast here in just a little bit. We'll talk to you a little later on in the show.
A Dillon business owner is facing charges after allegedly entering the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C. during the protest earlier this month. 52-year-old Henry Philip Munzer has been charged with unlawful entry of restricted building or grounds and disorderly conduct. Prosecutors allege in court documents that Munzer was with the mob that forced its way into the U.S. Capitol between 2 and 4 o'clock on the day Congress met to certify the electoral votes. Investigators say he was identified through tips, video footage, and social media posts. Court documents show a screenshot from national news coverage with someone resembling Muntzer's appearance, and Muntzer reportedly made a Facebook post with video from inside the Capitol where he discussed getting pepper sprayed or tear gassed. The affidavit adds that Muntzer made several social media posts in advance of the Washington, D.C. rally, talking about his intention to travel there and the possibility of helping pay for others from Montana who wanted to attend, or housing rally goers at a rental while in D.C. A federal judge in Missoula placed Muntzer on supervision, and he is not allowed to have any firearms and is not allowed to travel outside of Montana unless he has to go to Washington, D.C. in connection with the charges. Well, in a string of votes early Thursday, Republicans on the Montana House Judiciary advanced several bills on abortion and transgender issues. The panel approved bills that would ban abortions in Montana after 20 weeks of pregnancy, and that greatly restrict the dispensation of abortion-inducing drugs. It also voted for a bill that says if a woman is considering an abortion, her physician must offer her the chance to see an ultrasound or listen to the heartbeats of the fetus. And the panel approved one last bill related to abortion to put a referendum on the November 2022 ballot that says a fetus born alive during abortions is a legal person. Another bill passed by the panel bans transgender athletes at Montana schools and colleges from participating on sports teams not aligned with their sex at birth. All bills passed on party line votes with Republicans in favor, except the last one, which was opposed by one Republican. Democratic opponents said some of the bills are unconstitutional and harmful to the state, but Republicans disagreed.
This bill also puts our economy at risk and opens us up to costly litigation. And a similar law was estimated to cost North Carolina $3.76 billion, that's billion, before they repealed their law.
Please remember, the constitutionality of something is subjective until it gets in front of the Supreme Court. So we have no idea how the courts can rule on things that are coming before us. All we can do is what we assert is correct, because all of us are interpreters of the Constitution as well.
Those 5 bills now head to the House floor where they are expected to pass. The committee also plans to vote Friday on a bill that bars medical procedures for transgender youth. And Montana lawmakers are considering a bill that would stop voters from registering on Election Day. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian reports on what the change would mean.
Currently, Montana residents can still register to vote at county election offices on the morning before Election Day and on Election Day itself. House Bill 176 would push that deadline back to 5 p.m. the preceding Friday. The House State Administration Committee held a hearing Thursday on the bill, sponsored by Republican Representative Sharon Grief of Florence. She said the bill wasn't intended to limit people's ability to vote, but that passing it would ensure people have confidence in the election system.
We are blessed with the privilege of voting, but we also must accept responsibility for that privilege. Elections don't pop up out of the blue and surprise us.
Montana Secretary of State Christy Jacobson testified in favor of the bill, calling it an election integrity measure. Supporters said same-day registration puts too much burden on local election officials.
It's extremely hard to put the information of all of the voters into the system, get their ballots counted, and keep the numbers correct while you're still registering people to vote the same day you're having an election.
But opponents said Election Day registration has worked as intended since the state approved it in 2005.
Same-day voter registration has functioned well and has allowed for the increasingly high percentage of registered voters who are actually voting in our elections. It has not caused fraud. It has not caused errors.
They said removing the option to register on the day would especially affect groups like Native Americans, students, and those with disabilities or receiving long-term care.
Please don't make it harder for these people to vote. Late registration has been a godsend for them, and we do all we can to make sure that people can exercise the franchise.
The legislature put a ballot measure before Montana voters in 2014 to end same-day registration. That measure failed 57% to 43%. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Leaders say about 60,000 voters registered on Election Day between 2006 and 2018. The data for 2020 hasn't been finalized just yet. Great Falls Mayor will now be helping a national organization work with the federal government to help cities across the country. Mayor Bob Kelly has been appointed to a one-year term with the National League of Cities Finance Administration and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. He'll provide guidance for the League's federal advocacy agenda and policy priorities. He says he's excited to have an opportunity to help shape federal policy. To learn more about the National League of Cities, you click on this link in the story on our website. And when we come back, Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz will have a complete check on your forecast. And later, a veteran teacher tells us how she found new ways to adapt to a school year unlike any other.
Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So for the longest time, it feels like most of December ended January, the jet stream had been going up and over the top of Montana. Well, that has changed, except now it's going too far south. So these storms are really going underneath Montana. So if you're hoping for a little storm system and some snow, we can't win one way or another. Great Falls, not that bad of a day. There's that northern edge of that cloud shield that, again, is mainly over the southern part of the state. Northern Montana, the High Line, nice clear skies until you get out way northeast Montana. 27 in Great Falls. In Helena, yeah, some flakes, especially if anybody was to climb up around Mount Helena or the hills around town. Just a little light snow through the course of the day. Really hasn't accumulated much. Up on the Continental Divide, up to Great Divide, about an inch of snow so far. A temperature of 30 degrees. It certainly got colder here today than yesterday. Current readings in the 20s to about 30, and what a relief, not much in the way of wind. Now, still dealing with this winter weather advisory, valley locations, a trace, meaning just a little bit up to possibly 2 inches, and really the valleys down closer to Gallatin County, Madison County, and Beaverhead County. In the mountains, as much as about 4 inches of snow. So the light snow really confined to the southwestern part of the state here, south central Montana, from around Big Timber through Park City over to around Columbus, picking up a little snow. But boy, it's been snowing for most of the day around the Big Belt Mountains. Some good snow up on the Continental Divide here as well. Out there around Helmville, some snow. Here's a little steadier band of some snow from around Phillipsburg, the west side of the Flint Creek Mountains, and then all the way over the John Long Mountains through about the Florence area. That's where we've got some of that snow coming down, just south of Missoula. Some rain down along the Gulf Coast. So a little snow again tonight, and really that snow will stay south of Great Falls, right around Helena. Better chance south of town seeing some snow than north of town, but a little light snow activity here through this evening into the overnight. But by tomorrow morning, you can see that snow has pushed on off towards the south. Not a bad Friday. A couple of snow showers into the southwestern mountains here that may come close to the Helena area, but really looks like a partly cloudy day. Heading into Saturday, the weekend, looks fairly quiet. So if you're watching from up around Glasgow, though, especially off towards the north around Opheim, just a little cold front, an Arctic front will clip northeastern Montana. Maybe a few flakes of snow there, but really accumulation. Livingston, Bozeman, down around Butte and Three Forks could see just a little accumulation. Again, in Helena, maybe a coating up to about an inch. That's really it here, folks. Not a lot of snow. Here's the forecast for tonight. A cold night down into the teens and single digits. Loma down to 9. Some clouds in the northeast part of the state. Lewistown, crazy 8. And there's some of that light flurry activity here in the southwestern part of the state. And here's the forecast for tomorrow. Nice sunshine. Temperatures in the upper 20s to lower 30s out the High Line. Maybe a few more clouds northeast Montana. Central areas looking at upper 20s to the lower 30s, and perhaps a snow shower tomorrow morning around Great Divide and Elliston, down around Boulder, Basin, and Butte. Here is the 7-day forecast for Helena. So pretty consistent. Nice to see. Not a lot of wind out there as well. Maybe a little period of snow or some snow showers Tuesday, then again Thursday of next week. And climatologically, you're looking at the coldest time of the year. After this period, start to see those averages start coming up. Great Falls, Not too shabby over the next few days and not too windy either. Maybe a couple of flakes Tuesday and Thursday.
For 32 years, Michelle Johnson has been a teacher, and in one short school year, her teaching style was turned upside down by the pandemic. MTN's Jessica Nelson spoke to the veteran teacher and has more on how she found new ways to adapt to a school year unlike any other.
Michelle Johnson has been teaching for more than 3 decades. 27 of those years, she walked the halls of Helena Middle School. And for a seasoned teacher like Mrs. Johnson, the pandemic brought many challenges.
Using some of these new technologies, I'd never been in Teams before, never heard of Zoom. And of course, now we're using these online curricular things that are great. And that's good.
Mrs. Johnson's positivity radiates through the computer screen as she tells me all the good things that have come from a school year conducted during a global pandemic.
It's wonderful to have the interactions that we do get to have with the kids. I mean, I think you really appreciate that because you love having them. If you only get them 2 days a week, those 2 days are going to be great.
Mrs. Johnson is the teacher of her classroom, but she is being forced through unforeseen circumstances to learn alongside her students. Those shared experiences have helped keep connections with her students alive.
We use chat in Teams to just talk to the kids. And so just to sometimes have these funny little conversations with kids.
And all of the new changes she made weren't necessarily easy.
We all had to really stretch what we were used to doing. And of course, being kind of a veteran, I'm used to doing certain things. Now I've had to really make myself stick to an agenda that I send out to the kids at the beginning of the week. And that's not my favorite thing, but it's a necessity.
After this year, Mrs. Johnson is looking forward to normalcy and building relationships with her students once again, face to face. Reporting in Helena, Jessica Nelson, MTN News.
Stay where you are, because coming up next on the news at 5, we'll have a preview of one of the biggest wrestling rivalries here in the Treasure State.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 5.
Welcome back, everybody. Montana's biggest wrestling rivalry begins anew tonight at the Armory Gymnasium. Tom Wiley is headed up to the High Line and has more.
Both MSU Northern and the University of Providence have had competitions canceled, postponed, or altered due to COVID-19 protocols, but all systems are go tonight for the first duel between Montana's only college wrestling programs in Havre. With no open tournaments on the schedule for either team, the dual format is going to be a little bit different so that both teams can get in as many reps as possible.
I think we will be cycling some guys through, and I think you'll be seeing some exhibition matches happen. You know, when we have a duel, you might, instead of seeing just 10 matches and the night be over, you might see 15 or 20 matches and taking some extra guys along. We have a few personal goals besides the success we want to have, but just personal goals that everybody who wants to wrestle gets an opportunity to wrestle.
While Providence is seeing competition for the first time this season, the Lights already have 6 duels under their belt with a perfect 6-0 record.
We return an exceptional talent group. I'm excited to see Devin Crawford on the mat. Dakota Siegel's been with us for a while now. Chase Short getting another crack at it. I mean, up and down the lineup, we're scrappy. And I think that serves us well. And
Providence swept Northern in 2 regular season duels a year ago, but the Lights are ranked number 13 in the nation in 2021, while the Argos are ranked number 22. Check back at 10 for highlights and reaction. I'm Tom Wiley for MTN Sports.
Now, this is the first of 2 duels between the bitter rivals. Providence and Northern will meet again on February 11th in Great Falls. And stick around because we'll wrap things up here when we come back. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on the Nightly News.
When we welcome our West Coast viewers, President Biden lays out his ambitious COVID plan, how it could affect you, and what he plans to do about the vaccination bottlenecks. Also, my conversation with young poet Amanda Gorman, who wowed the nation with her poem at the inauguration. We'll have that and much more on Nightly News.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 5.
Welcome back, everybody. There's a good chance if you're on Facebook, Twitter, any of that, you've probably seen this by now, but one of the most viral moments of President Joe Biden's inauguration was Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders And now you can own a commemorative bobblehead doll. The National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum seized, of course, on the viral moment of the masked Sanders all bundled up on the west front of the U.S. Capitol. The bobblehead doll will feature the entire signature ensemble, the mask, the coat, the mittens. It's all right there, seated on a folding chair on that white base. It's only $25, and you can find it on their website. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. We'll see you back here at 10.